Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everybody, welcome to a very jolly holiday special of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who went through the 7 candy cane layers of the forest? I wrote this down, I can't remember what the damn line is. I heard it 20 times. The 7 layers of the candy cane forest, that's what I wrote down.
Your favorite cotton-headed ninny muggins, Bill Tucker?
And Tiffany Albertin. I got nothing. I never have anything.
That's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
That's how the show works.
I know. They expect it now.
And Bill, we should introduce what we're talking about, because you made me put this on the Patreon poll.
I did. We're watching Elf, the 2003 holiday classic with a question mark. I would say as classic as you can get. Yeah, classic-ish. Starring Will Ferrell and James Caan and Zooey Deschanel and a whole bunch of other people who are all really good in this. And again, this was released in 2003, directed by Jon Favreau. Those of you who've been following our exploits in the MCU know who that guy is. When this movie was released, no one knew who he was except for Swingers. He was the Swingers guy. This is actually one of his first directorial efforts, his first major one. And from here, he would go on to do all sorts of things, obviously. I put this on the list because I really, really like it. I think this is as close to a Christmas classic as we've seen in movies since, in the last 20-something years. I was thinking about it earlier today. We don't really get Christmas movies anymore. Like, not like this. Like, this is a Christmas classic. Most people will put that in that category. And since this was released, we haven't really had anything else because there's nothing but Hallmark movie garbage. Like, that's what we get.
Don't get me started on Hallmark. That's all they play at work.
Well, that's what passes for Christmas movies now, because or holiday movies. I don't say just Christmas, but holiday movies. We don't make movies like this anymore. Like for mass consumption. I mean, 8-Bit Christmas is a different thing for this year, but that is still pretty niche.
Did you see 8-Bit Christmas?
I have not seen it. I'm reading the book right now because I'm.
What? There's a book.
There's a book. Yes, because I'll be. I don't know when this is coming out, but I'll be chatting with the author on Monday for my show. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks.
Yeah. So okay. So that'll be if you
December
go
15th.
to a gamer, so if you go to a gamer that looks at 40, that episode will already be out. What do you guys think of Elf, though? What's your take on it?
It's wearing on me. I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell at all, but I love the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
I love James Caan. I love Mary Steenburgen, or however you.
Yeah, Steenburgen.
I love everybody else in there. Yeah, Steenburgen. I always thought it was Steinberg. I don't know. But I'm just not a fan of Will Ferrell. However, he did a really good job playing Buddy the Neurotic.
I did not like this movie at all before we started watching it 3 times for this episode. I watched it once when we had a friend over before it won the Patreon poll or was even tied or anywhere near. I'm like, okay, we'll just put it on. I paid attention and I found myself laughing. And then I watched it. We tried to watch it last night. Couldn't get to work, so I watched it on YouTube. Do not watch it on YouTube.
Why did you do that? How is that possible?
Like in 29 parts or something.
Yes.
Hey, listen, hang on.
Cut out.
With parts cut out, it was still 29 parts with like the good scenes. There were some good scenes cut out.
That's how you don't get shut down on YouTube when you put your movie up.
I guess.
I was going to say, you can't complain about watching a movie on YouTube, and all you do is complain about people watching Thor Dark World that you put up and clicking on it and say, I have 80,000 likes on this thing. Be watching movies on the sly on YouTube. Yeah, I had to pay for this. I don't have HBO. This is actually on HBO Max, I think. I do not have HBO, so I had to pay. It is? What?
It's not right now. That's where we had the problem. It wouldn't play the video for us.
It wouldn't load. It wouldn't load yesterday and wouldn't load again today.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Maybe it's like Elf Overload or something.
Yes, everyone's trying to watch this movie
at the same time.
Maybe that's weird. Okay.
I mean, it kind of is a classic. Everybody that watches it loves it. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't like it the 3rd time through, and I watched it again when I got home today before this recording. So I don't know if it's like I just enjoyed the movie or it just got hammered in my head enough and I just submitted to the movie.
Well, I am a big fan of Christmas movies. I love the holidays. I'm a big fan of them. I'm cheesy. Give me all the sentimentality. Give me all the feels. Just mainline candy canes into my veins. I'm here for all that stuff.
Then you need the Hallmark Channel.
No, I don't need schmaltzy garbage. I don't need a bunch of white people smiling at other white people so other white people can watch them. I don't need that. That's not what I need. It's okay.
It's the same movie rehashed in a different way. That's all it is, and it's mushing my brain.
Yeah, one I was watching on Netflix was somebody who was rich, who then moved to a small town or was stuck in a small town, but she didn't want to tell people she was rich, so she was working at this bed and breakfast place. And I recognized the actress. I'm like, oh yeah, she was on the 100. Oh, and then I walked away and went back to work.
That was it.
Oh no, my shoes are dusty. It's like, this is not. I don't know.
This is not it.
Not it. But again, it's interesting because I do like. So what I like about Christmas movies is I like hearts. Christmas movies have to have heart. I think that's almost a requirement, unless you're one of the fringe ones. Like there's some really good horror Christmas movies. Like Krampus is great. Rare Exports is actually really, really good. If you want a horror Christmas movie, yeah, with those out like Bad Santa. But even then, it kind of centers back. The really good ones have a heart.
Oh man, Bad Santa kind of has a heart at the end.
Yeah, it does. It comes together, right?
It comes together. You've never seen that?
I don't watch Christmas movies normally. I don't like Christmas movies.
But it's Billy Bob Thornton being Billy Bob Thornton.
I don't like Billy Bob Thornton either.
I'm not the biggest fan either. I'm iffy on Bad Santa, but so what Elf does for me in this, it paints everything in very broad stroke, and you're going to hear me say a lot of this as we kind of talk about it. It's just a Christmas movie. So you have to kind of paint this movie with that brush because if you don't, it's got a lot of plot holes in it. There's some leaps in logic. It jumps places, right? It's like, okay, now we're good. You know, it has that kind of feel to it. But again, in the end, you have to qualify it with it's a Christmas movie. It's got a thing to do, and it's to give you those holiday feelings of warmth and coziness and maybe a little anesthesia against the hellscape that we live in constantly at all times. Everything's fine in here.
It's funny when people talk about this movie as like a Christmas classic now, because I remember this came out in 2003.
Oh, that means we're old as fuck. Jesus
and we're almost
Christ.
Well, this movie's almost 20 years old. So,
I know.
Yeah.
I was in high school at the time when it came out.
Fuck you.
The year I graduated college.
He always reminds me that I'm 5 years older than he is.
You're 6.
I'm not. I'm 5 years older. Fuck you.
It'll be 6 soon.
It'll be okay. It's because my birthday is in February and his is in November, so it feels like 6.
Oh my. Okay. Well, listen. Counting those months, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, for me, I when I saw this it might have been theatrically. I don't remember. Like I said before, we don't get this anymore. And actually, I was thinking about if this movie is an A-tier Christmas movie, and I was thinking about, I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a B+. And then I thought back and I'm like, well, what are the A tier? Like, what is in that A tier? And I don't know if there are any. It's very interesting. I was thinking about the Christmas movies, like, I don't know, 1951 Christmas Carol. That's up there. That's way up there. A lot of the movies that we loved are actually shows and specials, like The Grinch, right? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, if you can.
Oh, yeah. Those were TV, made for TV specials.
Don't forget the Star Wars Holiday Special.
The Star Wars Holiday Special, a venerated classic beloved by millions.
I don't want to listen.
What?
My phone keeps going off and he's very upset right now.
I'm recording with an unprofessional right now, so what happens.
Yeah, we're going to be divorced to an unprofessional if you don't stop it.
That's not the Christmas cheer this movie's trying to bring us.
That's right. Think about Buddy. What would Buddy say? He would be like, I love noises. And then, of course, Mike is like, I have to edit noises. Mike is the James Caan in this relationship right now.
Yes, you are.
And that's funny.
So, guys are thinking about it. So, the things we love about Christmas are really, again, those specials, right? That's what I have a love for Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol because I watched it every year, and I still do with my family. Every year we watch that silly thing.
My 2 favorite Christmas movies are from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Steinbergen, whatever. One Magic Christmas, and the other one is Santa Claus, the movie, not the one with Tim Allen, like the 1983 one or whatever.
Yep.
Those were my 2 favorite movies. They still are, even though I didn't put them on the poll because I knew they won't go anywhere.
I didn't think this was going to go anywhere either, so...
And I will state the one Christmas special that I absolutely adore. It's one that nobody talks about. It's the Will Vinton's Claymation Christmas. It's a Claymation Christmas special. It's a half an hour long. It is narrated by a claymation T-Rex and Triceratops. And it's like 6 different songs that are all to like claymation characters. It is a strange fever dream that I have
Not
to
cute.
and you can watch those in 3 parts on YouTube still, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to watch something in parts, I recommend it. And it ends with the performance of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by the California Raisins, doing the Temptations version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I know what you're talking about now that you said the California.
You didn't hit your head and have this
Do they
weird...
have like little hats on? I remember.
Of course they did. They have little Santa hats on.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, vaguely.
Yeah, it's the California Raisins doing the Temptations, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and all of those things together are very, very good.
now don't you feel left out because you're too young to remember this?
I'm okay with not remembering any of this.
I recommend it. But anyway, to kind of put an edge in my point, I couldn't think of anything that was like an A-tier Christmas movie. So this is top tier if I can't think of A's. Yeah, up there with the classics. I mean, I would say it's up there with Your Miracle on 34th Street, which is a bit of a slog. No, Miracle on 34th Street's pretty fantastic. That's wonderful. It's a Wonderful Life. People love that. Have you seen it recently? It's freaking long. That movie, it takes a long time to get to Buddy on the Bridge. Let me tell you, it takes...
People consider that movie science fiction too now. I don't
Do
know.
they? Well, because it goes
We
back
talked about it at work.
goes back in time, I guess, or
It's
he's
a science fiction movie. They say.
he's shown his past, what it would be like, you know.
But don't they do that in A Christmas Carol?
Yeah. Well, yes, they do that in A Christmas Carol. Yeah. Mhm.
The internet
You
told
just
me
can't do that in
I don't need.
Magic Christmas.
I don't need to see a Wonderful Life ever again. When I was younger, every single Christmas we go over to my grandma's house, and my uncle will put that damn movie on every single Christmas, and he'd just play it because it was on TV. I never need to see that movie
I
again.
remember watching A Christmas Story.
You put that on every time too,
Yep.
because that would
Yep.
play after A Wonderful Life. And he would just.
Don't you try.
So I'm good. I don't like Christmas movies. I think that's probably why.
Well, and I think I like Christmas specials more than Christmas movies. Honestly, I think that's kind of where I landed. Like A Christmas Story, we should. I don't know if we're gonna ever. I don't know what next on the poll was or anything, but if I can't talk about it, then I'll talk about it here. A Christmas Story is an extremely mean-spirited movie. It's a very ugly movie. It has no business being a holiday classic. Like, it really doesn't. But it works because it's very honest. It's the Christmas most people experience, not the ones that do in Hallmark. You know, it's not a Hallmark
It's
Christmas
fairy
where it's always snowing lightly and everyone's hair is nicely done and no one's frazzled. No, the dog eats turkey, so now we're gonna go to the Chinese restaurant and get and have a duck. Like, that's what we're gonna do because that's so it's got a very honesty to it, but it is a kind of a mean movie. I like A Christmas Story. I've just seen it too much. Like you said, Michael.
It
Michael,
plays,
like I
24 hours like
on
the
TBS,
3 days before Christmas.
yeah constantly.
I think
on,
that's
so.
why I hate Christmas movies normally, because they play them constantly. Like, I have always thought this movie was the dumbest movie ever until I rewatched it 3 times in the past week, and now I'm like, you know what? I kind of like it. I think a lot of it's submission. I was just beaten in submission by the movie because I kept turning it on. This damn podcast.
Had to be something about it, right? Yeah, has
It's
something.
not Will
something
Ferrell.
about it.
I don't like Will Ferrell. I mean, I don't like him as an actor in general. Like, I don't think he's funny most of the time. Like, he does do a good job of playing that childlike innocence that works for this character. Like, he's good at doing that, but I don't like him. I actually I avoid all movies he's in just about. I have never seen Talladega Nights. I have never seen any of those films, Step Brothers, nothing. The only movie I've ever seen with him in it that I can remember off the top of my head is Stranger Than Fiction, which is not really a Will Ferrell movie.
No.
He ends up in a book and somebody's narrating his life and he's going to die. So he's trying to find the author so she'll rewrite the book so he doesn't die.
Wasn't he in the Lego movie?
Yeah, but sort of. That wasn't really. He's in it, parts of it. But it's not a Will Ferrell movie.
Okay, deep breaths.
Will Ferrell movie.
He's got this very intense look on his face.
A Will Ferrell movie tends to be where he's acting very stupid, very childish, a lot of comedy.
You're okay.
No, I'm not. No, it's not.
He's been a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of people. It's funny. I'm sure you guys watched the movies that made us. Companion piece to the two Elf, of course. He came out. He was in Old School the same year as Elf. He was Frank the Tank before he was Charming Buddy the Elf.
Old School.
That's why
That's fine.
They were scared to release it because suddenly Frank the Tank is an elf.
Right. Exactly. Imagine that.
And yeah, I don't know.
It's just
How
stupid.
that plays.
It's just people in studio execs that are dumb.
Well, they gotta be careful. Most it's releasing to the public, right? And the public have varying tastes and opinions on things, so it's, I can see that.
30 million in the grand scheme of things for movies is not a whole lot of money compared to like, some movies that they release.
Well, yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard for a movie to usually make back 30 million.
You'd be surprised. Movies don't make their box office back. But anyway, I don't know if you guys how you want to get into it, or you just want to keep.
We'll just kind of talk about different things in the movie. We don't need to do this one scene by scene like we normally do because it's not an MCU movie, so we don't have to.
I will say how lovely it was to see Bob Newhart.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, I forgot he was in there.
Yeah, he's the Papa Elf. He's Papa Elf. Gosh, is that good?
Of this movie is hilarious to me because I missed it the first time because I didn't want to watch Elf when they put it on, so I was walking away and doing other things that didn't involve this film. So I didn't see that opening until we watched it on YouTube today, or last night.
You mean Rudolph's? Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's hilarious. He's like, well, there's only 3 jobs for Elf. We could make shoes.
Bake in the tree, and that's pretty hazardous during dry season.
That was hilarious. I want to make shoes. Running out. That really made me laugh. And then I like when they talk, well, you could be work in the Santa's workshop. And they said, well, we had trolls and we had gnomes, but the gnomes just drank too much.
I missed that part when I watched it the first time.
Me too. So, I mean, it's good. And it's fun seeing Bob Newhart in something. Like, because I knew Bob Newhart from the Bob Newhart show while I was watching it in the 90s. I can't tell you. I was. Nick at Night. It was on Nick at Night. And I used to watch Bob Newhart show and The Stupid where Bob Newhart has an inn or something. Oh. Well, I watched all those.
I think aren't they both called the Bob Newhart Show?
I honestly don't know. I
can't remember.
I grew up with Nick at Night, watching it with my mother all the time, and those are the shows I grew up on. So it's like it's vaguely in my head. I just remember. I thought he had 2 different shows. That's neither here nor there. But
no, he did.
It's interesting seeing him again
and the Bob Newhart Show. Come on, there's not much.
I know him as Professor Proton now too. Big Bang Theory reference.
Professor Proton.
So it to me it was very cool that they have that. And it's a good way to kind of like start this movie like a Christmas movie where you have the whole narration where you meet Buddy and it kind of shows like gives you the whole backstory, very quickly too of how he comes to this land. And I mean it's pretty damn hilarious too. Like I was surprised and I enjoyed the opening of this movie.
And it's gonna sound like I'm trying to parrot back what's in the Netflix show you can watch right now, friends. If you want to just turn this off and watch a Netflix show, there's a whole hour-long documentary on the making of this film. The way they do forced perspective to create the differences in size is absolutely genius. I mean, I
loved it. I loved that they did that.
It's so much better than if they had done like some sort of CGI nonsense or some sort of dopey Captain America little head in a car kind of thing.
They didn't have the money for that.
They didn't, and that's the beautiful thing about that's the beautiful thing about a movie with a limited budget is they had to just take these chances and
old school special effects.
Yeah, traditional techniques that still really, really work. They all.
And they have pretty much abandoned most of them, but the first perspective thing really worked.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's there just long enough to believe it, and then of course everything else when he's talking with the different elves, and they're looking up, he's looking down. All those really careful shot selections and cinematography just makes this work really well. I think it's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I love opening with Bob Newhart because that is really bending conventions because you expect a jolly narrator back in the days of the North Pole, and you have this kind of like mumbling, almost monotone, beaten down and bedraggled. Yes, I agree.
He didn't make top toy tinker until he was 400. What do you think?
490.
490. So he's a little discouraged. Okay.
That's when the drunk guy is like, 490.
That's a great scene. Well, I can talk. We'll talk a little bit. I want to put a pin on that one because that's a good scene that highlights something this movie does very well.
Is it bad that when everybody says I want to put a pin in it, the first thing that pops in my head is the movie Bolt, where the agent is an asshole? Like, I'm going to put a pin in that right now. That's what always pops in my head when people say that phrase every time.
It makes me sound like a corporate asshole. That's what it makes me sound like. Hey, also, I'm just going to run that up the flagpole after I put a pin in it so we can have some synergy on that. Shut up. I can't.
But corporate people like when you talk like that, even though it means nothing. People like it. I know. I've tried it. It works.
Great. It's great.
People above me liked it, not the people I work for.
Yeah, they despise you. They loathe you. They're like, what? Shut up.
Yes.
Anyway, I actually, since we're just kind of pinballing around, then you mentioned the scene when he's in the mailroom And, he, of course, goes to the mailroom expecting shiny objects. There are no shiny objects. It's the mailroom. And I want to talk about James Caan, too, because I think he's fantastic in this, too. He's just so well cast.
He does a good job. Like
the casting across the board is good in this movie.
He's also the only well-known actor at the time in this movie. Because I think almost everyone else was kind of...
Santa Claus. Who's Santa Claus?
Ed Asner.
Ed Asner.
Yeah,
but you not know who Ed Asner is?
I do. I used to watch the Merrily Tell Your Show, also on Nick at Night at the time.
He probably hadn't done anything recently. James Caan was the most recent thing that he had done up to then.
He was in Misery. I don't know when that came out, but he was in Misery.
It was in the 80s. It was in the 80s.
He was in...
He's also... Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Godfather?
No, okay.
I mean, he happened to be just in one of the top 20 movies ever made. So he doesn't have to do much after that. He's actually fine. He's good.
He was probably the most recognizable cast member yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at the movies he was in, like 2000, 2001, 2002. Recognize none of them. Yeah, I don't recognize a single movie he was in into the 90s. I still don't. Nope.
He Blue Eyes, you never seen.
I've never seen any of these movies that he was in, apparently.
Wrong one.
A lot. But yeah, no, Godfather Part 2 is the last movie that I've seen him ever in out of the list of movies he did.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the list of Zooey Deschanel, who before this was the only major movie she was in was Almost Famous, which was in 2000. Other than that, just a bunch of stuff I've never heard of. So.
Yeah, because she was also because again, when you have no budget, this is what you do. You get unknown actors.
Relatively unknown.
Yeah, because you don't have money.
And I mean, so we were talking about this. Yes, Will Smith was on SNL, but I still...
Will Ferrell.
Sorry.
I don't know if Will Smith ever was. No, probably though. He
probably hosted. He hosted, I'm sure.
But Will Ferrell was on SNL, but he was still relatively unknown for movies.
Yes.
So like when he goes walking down the street, those are real people, and that's why he wasn't recognized.
What popped in my head though is because when we did the Ghostbusters.
Plus, he's just like an elf.
Yeah, and I mean, there's New York, and we have someone who lived in New York on the show right now.
Heyo.
Enlighten us.
Do you ever see any weird people walking around in New York?
Oh, I've been a weird person walking around New York. Are you kidding me? It's just, yeah, of course.
Hear about anything and they'll be like, oh, it's New York.
There's actually a really good YouTube, or maybe a little YouTube clip or something that was posted on Twitter a few weeks ago. And it's a video clip of somebody who's in a giant rat costume, dragging a giant piece of pizza up a New York stairway, like in the subway. And it's just, he's just dressed as a rat, pretending to be a rat, like pulling this piece of pizza up the stairs. And my favorite thing about that clip was nobody paid attention. One guy was coming down the stairs. As he came up, the guy like jumped over the railing to get out of the way, and then nobody else noticed. Everyone's just walking to the train, waiting for the subway to come. And I said to my wife,
or you could get in trouble.
I said to my wife, proud New Yorkers, very proud of you, New York, very good. Don't pay attention. Just don't look.
Look forward. Don't.
Nope, because it's too crowded and we have no time. So
we have no time.
No, we have no time. We live in New York. Come on now.
Yeah, anyway. I found the clip that you're talking about. Yeah, literally, is a guy in a costume.
Yep. Just crawl. Let's go up the stairs. No, it's so funny. And so, but I love this movie too because it gives me a lot of New York feels. Obviously, when they show up in New York, all the landmarks, just the feel of New York. There is a moment when Buddy and Jovi, right? Yeah.
Jovi.
Buddy and Jovi are kind of having their adorable little childlike date, where he takes her to get the world's best cup of coffee. And she's like, it's just a crappy cup of coffee. Just the sweetness. And again, that's going to be a recurring theme, of course, in this film is Buddy's sweetness and how wherever Buddy goes, because of his simple sweetness, he makes lives better.
I mean, in reality, he should have been arrested like 5 times.
At least 5 times. Yeah, more than he was, because when he's thrown out of the Empire State Building, he's actually thrown. I think when he gets thrown out, he gets put in jail. Oh no, that was after the fight. We will.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
What I was saying before, what made me always think of is I remember in the Ghostbusters they talk about in movies that made us how. When, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray were on the streets of everyone knew who they were and it was their city because of Saturday Night Live and the difference of it, 20, 30 years later where Saturday Night Live is nowhere near what it was at that time. I think it's also kind of interesting because Will Ferrell, even, you think someone who stars in Saturday Night Live would be more well known in their own city.
That's true. I forget it's based off of New York or out of New York.
Yeah, but times change. I just always think of that Ghostbusters thing where it's like, there was their city, and people were, and Ghostbusters all cheering, like, go, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
have
interesting,
different times.
Yeah, because he was a big SNL star, and that is surprising that he was able to get away with that. Again, using those long lenses to get those long shots of him just messing around. And knowing that after watching... Go ahead, I'm sorry. Sorry, Tish.
Tootsie.
The Tootsie scene.
Elaborate.
No, you don't know what I'm talking about? The Tootsie scene?
I don't know.
I'm not talking to you.
No, I don't think I know this either. What's the Tootsie scene?
So I don't know if I would have called it that if I hadn't watched the making of documentary. However, the scene where he's walking down and they like pan back and it shows all the people. It's a scene from Tootsie with, I can't remember his name.
I got nothing.
Nobody knows what Tootsie is?
No.
I know the name. I'm aware of an entity, an entertainment thing that's a Tootsie.
What's wrong with you? I can't talk to you guys.
It's a 1982 film with Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman dressed as a woman in his full gear walking down New York, just like Buddy was, only it's Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, okay. I see. I've heard of Tootsie, but I didn't get the connection. Okay.
And It's not as obvious because Dustin Hoffman definitely isn't 6'3", so.
Right. It's fair.
And he's also not dressed up as an elf.
He's dressed as a woman.
Right.
Yeah,
which in the
that's
80s
less weird than a guy dressed up as an elf.
Not in the 80s. 80s.
Not in the
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
You can see his 5 o'clock shadow. We're watching a clip.
We're watching the trailer.
You can see his 5 o'clock shadow. There's no way anyone would mistake him for a woman.
That's funny.
I disagree.
He's got a good figure, though.
There's a lot of references in this movie which are scenes from other movies, I felt. I can't think of them off the top of my head now, but I know there were multiple times. Well, that didn't click, but there were actual scenes where I'm like, that's from that movie. It felt like a reference. One thing we should mention is like the whole beginning of this movie, or the whole just the style of it. Whenever they're at the North Pole is a direct inspiration in quotations of the old Rudolph movie from
Inspiration.
What the hell was this called? Renfrew and
I should have looked this up beforehand. Rankin and something. Yeah.
Rankin and Bass.
Rankin and Bass. Sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's right. Sounds like a crappy lawyer firm. Yes.
Which is, it's cool. I mean, like the costumes are like pretty much exactly from that movie and everything, which is a stop motion Rudolph movie that people would have saw as a kid probably.
Yeah, the snowman. I think there's even the Warlow or whatever it's called. The whale thing with the
Narwhal.
Narwhal.
Hope you find your dad.
Hope you find your dad.
All that stuff is neat. But when I was watching it last night, it felt very hammered in, very shoehorned in. It didn't quite fit the film. I think, again, I know the filmmakers wanted to harken back to that style of not animation, but just that feeling that those films and the specials evoke. But like when that narwhal comes up, I'm like, nah, that's just not. This doesn't quite work. It's cute and it's clever.
It's just so random. They could have left that part out.
A little random. It just didn't quite fit. Especially consider the risk they were taking, because that's not borrowing, that's plagiarism. That is straight up plagiarism, y'all. Like, don't dance around it. You literally made those things to look exactly like the snowman and the puffin for no real gain. It's not additive for me, at least, because it's visually neat, but I don't know. Just, he's talking to the snowman. That's more of like, hey, remember this reference, kids? You loved the 1968 or whatever it was. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Here's silver and gold snowman.
Kids that are now adults and have children of their own.
Exactly. Yes. Hey, adults, remember this thing you've watched for 40 years? And just for that purpose. There's no real reason for that.
No, it didn't need to be there. I mean, it works, and I guess it didn't mean. I mean, I watched the Rudolph movies, but it didn't matter to me. Like, I didn't care that this was the same type of costume. I wouldn't even have probably put it together except for
I don't know
the documentary.
Put it together.
Because I saw this movie in high school in 2003 or probably 2004. They put it on DVD or something at one point, and I was like, and I don't think it clicked until way later in life that it was a reference to Rankin and Bass. So, no. But yeah, it's unnecessary. But I do want to make the joke that I was waiting to make. So, you have to make sure the movie is unbelievable. So when he jumps on the iceberg and he just travels all the way from the North Pole of New York, it's completely believable.
Is that how he gets there, the iceberg?
He takes the iceberg, and he's walking in the woods, and he finds a raccoon. And then he's in New York.
Hello, guy.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just make your joke.
I always think of the Hulk movie. But see, you know what? This is more believable because this is a very cartoonish world, so it works better for me. Less vegetation. And when I saw the iceberg, the first thing that went in my head is, there's enough room for 2 people in an iceberg. you know, maybe Jack could have came out of the ice.
It wasn't an iceberg they were on.
I know, it was a board.
No.
There wasn't enough room for two people.
It was a door.
That fucking movie. I don't like Titanic, and I see it every so often because it's on at work. And every time I'm like, why? Why are you watching this terrible movie?
My coworker hates me. She puts on sad movies because she knows I cry. She hates me.
But, I mean, there are some good scenes. Like, when he's running around New York, I do laugh at those scenes when he's acting all childish and people are just, you know, like, looking at him like he's crazy. Like, there's the one scene where there's a guy dressed all in a red jumpsuit that he goes up and he's like, Santa!
Santa Claus!
You're not Santa!
The guy's like, the fuck?
And I love how that's not an actor, just some guy that was on the street.
So those guys handing out paper, do you think those...
Yeah, those aren't actors. Those are just guys that he kept bugging, so they're yelling at him.
those
Again,
aren't-
he keeps,
like, get out of here!
Yeah,
Keep
no,
taking
those
the
are
papers.
those were real reactions because those guys get paid to hand out those papers,
I wonder
and
how long it took them to get pissed off.
probably not long.
Yeah, probably those 3 shots. If you pasted them together, that's what it took. He probably did it just in a row like that.
And then ran off.
Yeah, I love the fact how DIY that is. All that street stuff is really fun.
It made me laugh.
Yeah, and it's very authentic too. It lends some authenticity to
He
to
sort
what's
of
going
paid
on.
tribute to Taxi. Semi got ran over by a taxi, except he didn't go, I'm walking here.
It took me a while to get that reference what you were talking about.
Oh.
I have seen that movie.
I was like, oh god, I hope that wasn't a real taxi. Like, I mean,
I wonder if, it's New York, maybe.
maybe, but he did that fall pretty good, so.
Yeah, I really hope not. Oh boy. No,
Oh, and I did want to ask you, because you were from New York, and I make that comment about the Ray's Pizza. They all say the original Ray's, but only the one on 11th Street, the original Ray's. Is Ray's a chain there or something?
yeah, there's like 50 of them. Ray's original Ray's. Yes, that's a real thing. I don't know. I don't think Ray's Pizza is all that great, so I can't really speak to where the best one is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, it's yes, that is a real thing. The Ray's joke is definitely real. What was the other one? Santa says he has a couple of tips for him.
Don't eat
Forget.
the gum.
Don't eat the gum, and Peep Show does not mean...
Looking at presents.
And wow, is that a 2003 joke? Because those things are basically gone now. And those are,
The Peep Shows, yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, there's another very 2003 joke when the one guy we'll get to later where he's talking about how rich he is. He has 3 70-inch plasma TVs, and
I know.
I'm like, 70-inch? That's not like I could go buy one right now for $600. But at the time in 2003, that would have been like a $10,000 TV. Plus,
That was
plasma's not that good.
And that was his biggest flex. The fact that his 3 homes each has a 70-inch plasma.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like 20, 30,000. I mean, I used to sell TVs, and
He was trying to overcompensate.
but
I don't know. In Game of Thrones, he says he doesn't have to, but who knows?
and I think this movie does. Like, I was surprised how much I was enjoying this movie from, each consecutive time that I watched it, I enjoyed it more for some reason. Like, everything when he goes to Gimbals and you have all those different scenes of him, wandering in Gimbals, and which was also filmed in a Macy's, by the way, all those scenes when he's inside the building.
I knew that.
Well, they
actually... By sight, I knew that.
Yeah. I don't think it was it all filmed inside Macy's? Because again, of course, Gimbals is Macy's. Gimbals
certain parts. I mean, some parts are in the studio, like in the warehouse in a sane asylum where they built. But some parts, like when he goes in and he does where he gets the perfume in his mouth. Yeah, that was actually a Macy's.
I can tell you. I can tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. I can tell you the scene where he's on the escalator or the elevator rather. No, escalator. He's on the escalator and he's like stretching his legs up on there. That's Macy's. That's a Macy's escalator. It's a very famous Macy's escalator. It's actually Gimbals is actually a real place. It's a real department store, but it's no longer in the city. It's been gone for many, many, many years. So, which is why they couldn't.
I was born.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Killed Gimbals.
Yes. Hey, Gimbals is actually in Milwaukee, where I'm from. So.
Okay.
Killed it.
But yeah, the outside and even the stuff like the like he's asleep in the Christmas window, and that's when his dad sees him. That's a very big deal thing in Macy's are the windows at Macy's. So Macy's at Christmas is a really, really big deal. It's really beautiful to walk through and check out. And you have all these Christmas windows that kind of because the Macy's building takes up an entire square block of New York City. So it's an entire square block, the entire building. Damn. I think it's still one of the largest or the largest department store in the country. It's like 10 floors. It's nuts.
Was it called Macy's then, though?
Yeah, it's been Macy's since the, early 1900s. But anyway, since Gimbals isn't a thing, they probably couldn't get the rights to call it Macy's. They did that, so.
So they're like, oh, well, let's just take this name. Everybody, well, not everybody, but people will recognize it as a famous department store.
Yeah, or you'd be like, that sounds like a real store.
Mm-hmm.
That's old like Macy's that no one goes to anymore. So
I did laugh.
Christmas windows are a thing, and Macy's is a big deal at Christmas.
What Macy's we had in Minneapolis, which we went, or St. Paul, wherever the hell city it was in that we live in. It had a whole Christmas.
Whatever city we live in.
We live in the Twin Cities. I don't remember which one had the Macy's, but it had a big Christmas display.
It was St. Paul.
And we went there the last year they had it. They had all these different decorations, and you went through a whole thing. And
you go through like a little village, and they have all these little animatronic things that pop up, and elves making toys, and it's super cute.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
We went the last year they had it before they tore down the building or got rid of it, or whatever the hell they did.
Yeah, I think it's an office.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
You need a lot of those, especially in 2021, you know? I mean, all people work from home. You need office buildings. So, back to what I was saying. I laugh when the asshole manager comes up to me like, hey, get back to work. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, that's retail for you during the holidays.
That's retail. Yep.
That is retail, yeah.
I don't, he's like, he doesn't know who the guy is. He doesn't have a name badge, never seen him before. Get to work.
He's in an elf suit. He must work for me.
I mean, and the thing is, like, that could easily happen. You usually just put on the costume, go to a place that you're wearing the same outfit, and you'll be good to go. Be like, oh, you work here? Yeah, I work here. Yeah.
They all had different outfits. See, this is something that oddly bugged me about their outfits. Nobody had the same outfit as Zoe did. Hers was the most revealing and form-fitting of all the female elves. All the female elves look like they're wearing green bags. But here comes Zoe, and she's like, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, but you have
I'm gonna show off my boobs. However, it was still respectful. It was still respectful in the fact that it didn't really show any skin. Question mark.
It didn't show any skin because she has red or green, like she covered her whole body.
Stupid spandex that clings and shows off enough.
Yes. But no, I like her in this. Well, I actually really like Zoe Deschanel, or however you say her name, because she was in a miniseries called Tin Man, which is really good. It was on Sci-Fi. And no one probably knows what I'm talking about.
Nope, I have no idea.
It's really good.
That's cool. I like Zoe Deschanel. I think she's very good in this. She plays the part well. She has kind of that. She has a very New York feel to her, just kind of sarcastic, cynical, constantly behind on the rent, but I still live here, damn it. So I'm just going to make it because where else am I going to go?
It's a very nice New York apartment, according to Mike.
It is a nice New York apartment. She had a kitchen that she went into. She didn't have her bed that she was sitting in a studio apartment, so she had at least a one bedroom.
It was
Isn't that nice for New York?
It is pretty good. It reminded me of my apartment because it had when my wife and I saw it, we actually had to stop the movie because I was taking notes throughout, and we stopped. I'm like, James, my wife was like, my wife said, she's like, blah. Hey, speaking words, let's do this again. So my wife says, all I want right now is microwaved ramen. And then I'm like all I want now is a cozy little New York apartment with like a loud radiator. And yeah. So again, this movie brings back a lot of those kind of fond New York memories of the holidays, and a few that are patent lies, bald-faced lies in this movie. We'll continue to talk about Zoe Deschanel, and I'll circle back on that. But
okay, I liked her role, and I thought it worked well in here. I thought it was just a good way that they did it, and the way that they, made everything work. Like with her, like it's just very, like it's very heartfelt the way the relationship goes and how they first meet and they're talking, and he's, first she's very apprehensive to him because she thinks that somebody put him up to be an asshole to her. And he doesn't understand because he doesn't understand the social cues because he's, from the North Pole. And he's just like trying to talk to her in the way that he knows. And she's like, get away from me. Who put you up? I don't want to talk to you. What are you doing here? Like, and then she, once she realized like, no, this is just how he is. she warms up to him as the movie progresses. And
even though he sees her in the shower, like that scene,
I know that does. Yeah, that's a weird one.
She's singing, and then when he finally gets loud enough so she can hear him, she just makes a face and continues singing.
Well, isn't that what you do when you think there's a weird, creepy guy in the bathroom when you're naked, right?
Like there's somebody else in the bathroom, so you continue your song, and then you figure.
It also amuses me that
so much sense.
It's baby, it's cold outside that they're singing.
Oh yeah, because of the babe.
It just amused me. I'm like, okay, because of what happened. I mean, not in 2003, but what happened like a couple years ago. People started hating on that song, even though it's a song from a different time where it's not meant to be a song that is insinuating that, it's insinuating the way that people were at that time.
Yeah, can't things just be like coy and of its day and just, I don't know. I don't get rapey vibes from him. Sorry, I don't. But again, I don't. I'm not supposed to.
I had to look really hard to be like, I kind of understand where people are coming from.
Yeah, but it amused me that was the song that they chose when he's doing something he shouldn't be doing. But also the whole innocence of it.
And why wasn't he arrested?
Immediately, pepper spray to the eyes.
She's in New York, so she should be, a tough New York girl. And she finds him creepy to begin with. He stalks her in the shower. Like, you're not calling the police at all?
Well, maybe she shouldn't have, because she was showering in a place she wasn't supposed to be in, because she was supposed to be at work.
It was the girl's bathroom.
Oh, no, he shouldn't be there. I'm just saying, maybe that's her job. I don't know.
It was the girl's locker room.
I do got to say, though, taking a shower at work was really tempting this week. We lost our hot water, and maybe when I saw this, I'm like, you know what? I'm tempted.
Clarify, we still showered. We just didn't wash our hair.
It's very cold showers are not fun.
No. We still showered, okay?
But I wanted to go to work because we work in a assisted living. I'm like, I can just go in the empty apartment and take a shower.
Just thankfully it wasn't in the middle of summertime.
Yeah.
But that's what it made me think of. But no, it's just, and it kind of, helped build the character. She's like, I don't have any money. I didn't pay my water bill. Like
eating ramen in your nice little New York apartment.
I feel like, okay, don't you see those the ads people post, like maybe because I'm Facebook group and I've seen people post like New York apartments where it's like, it's a closet for $600.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You mean, yeah. It's expensive to live in New York. I mean, I left 8 years ago, and I was paying $2,000 a month for 400 square feet of apartment. That's what I was paying. So I want to talk a little bit about James Caan in this movie because he is perfectly cast. He has a vibe that he almost really doesn't want to be there. I mean, for the shooting, I don't remember if that was explained in the documentary, but I don't think he wants to be there. And just how good he is as this one note dad villain, right? And everything in this movie is one note painted with one big candy cane brush, but it's fine. It's a Christmas movie. That stuff's okay. I'm actually here for that. I don't need complexity. I don't need depth. I don't need to learn about. Oh God! I almost brought up a horrific holiday classic. Stupid. Complete aside. No.
Happy Life Day.
Have you ever heard of Little Matchstick Girl?
Oh,
no.
It's a Hans Christian Andersen. I'm pretty sure that's right. Hans Christian Andersen book, and it's a little Matchstick Girl, and it was adapted into a beautiful animated film that's about Christmas and a little girl who sells matchbooks. And every time she takes a matchbook, she takes a match from the matchbook to stay warm. And every time she takes a match, she thinks about a horrific thing that happened to her, and then she dies. And that's the
Christmas.
That's it. Because it happens. I guess it happens at Christmas. I don't know. It's snowing. I don't know. That's why. And it's horrifying. It's the worst thing ever. And so I don't know why that came up to my brain I don't know why Little Matchstick Girl came to my brain I don't know how I got there, but anyway,
that sounds terrible though.
It's terrible. It's horrifying, but it's I don't know.
But you're
anyway,
looking at the live action one. Apparently, there's a live action.
Yeah.
With Rudy and Blanche in it.
Okay.
That's all I found when I searched that. And the Little Matchstick. Why are we? There's also the Little Match Girl in 2006, which is animated.
Yeah. We don't have to do that. So let's back to James Caan. He's really great. I love his turn. His turn is so fast. Like he about faces. He does like a 180 neck snap. He's like between like him being just the asshole father who cares about my kids, all about my work, all about the big paycheck. His son comes in just as when they're about to pitch the big book, to the executives, and within a second, boom, nope, screw you, company. I'm gonna be a good dad now. My wife was like, that doesn't happen.
No, I didn't buy it either.
How that happens?
It was too quick.
I went too quick, and I went, I know, James, but Christmas movie.
Easily have gone after that pitch wasn't going to take hours.
And it's a Christmas movie thing, and that's fine. Again, it does what it's got to do.
But he doesn't do the sentimental scenes well.
No, but he does a good job in this movie. Like
I didn't say he didn't.
He does a good job. Like I like his growth as a character, but yeah, that was kind of a little like sudden. Like you figured it would be a little bit more because throughout the entire movie, he's bitching about this with Christmas. He's getting upset about this. Like he's always angry.
It's James Caan.
Yeah.
Right. It's James Caan.
Sure he played James Caan.
Yeah.
I like there's one part where he yells at Buddy in this movie, and when Buddy runs away, and in the documentary we were watching, it talks about that John Farrell had whispered something in his ear, and he said, "Don't forget you're fucking Sonny," or however you say that name,
Sonny Corleone.
And then he went and did that whole scene right after that.
Is that the one when he tells him, "I don't want to see you anymore"?
Yeah.
That is a hard, and that's a well acted scene. That's a tough one. I think one of the hardest scenes to watch. And there's some cringe moments in this movie. There's lots of cringe, actually. But the biggest one for me that kind of hit in a weird place was when Buddy first meets Walter. And Walter thinks he's a singing telegram or something, like a candygram.
Yeah.
And he's like, aren't you going to sing a song? And Buddy starts like, "Oh, here to see my dad, 'cause I really love him." And it's so sad. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like legitimately sad. Because again, Buddy is a child. That's who he's a child.
Yep.
And that's what makes him work as a character, because he's kind of a child in a grown-up's body, but he doesn't have the faculties of a child. Like, he's still an adult, but he has the spirit of a child. And that's what Christmas is about. It's trying to regain pieces of that childlike joy that you had when you were a kid. And that's why we can't like Christmas the same way now as we did when we were kids, because we're not kids. Life stinks now. Things were great. Just kidding. Just kidding.
One part that I always find funny, like when with James Caan, like when he moves in the apartment and like it starts off where like they, nobody likes him there, and as time progresses, like, oh, he's like, "I made you guys breakfast." Like, "Oh, that's wonderful." And he pours the maple syrup on spaghetti from.
Right.
It's just like, he's like, "Well, we eat we always try to eat with the three candy groups: candy canes, candy corn."
Candy corn is Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
I couldn't think of anything else.
They couldn't think of anything else but candy corn.
Probably.
But to me, that was funny. And then like there's a part where he takes Pop-Tarts and he breaks them, puts them on the spaghetti with the maple syrup.
So
and,
gross.
like,
Can't do
you
it.
see him eat it. Like,
Nope.
I bet that was a one take. He's like, "We're doing this once. Get what you get."
Just kneading the Pop-Tarts into his syrup, M&M, and spaghetti that's cold. You know it's cold. It's gotta be cold.
Would it be better warm?
No.
Are you saying it would be better warm?
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
just
know.
pop the whole thing, and then like the chocolate and the sugar will melt, and it'll be.
Oh God, you're
There's
right.
no way
I don't
noodles taste good covered in candy and chocolate.
Should we try it? That'll be
Syrup.
dinner tomorrow. Okay.
No.
Let's all have an elf Christmas meal. That's great. But that's the cool thing about Buddy too, is that he has that energy of a child. So like a child, everything he does, for the most part, everything he does has the best intentions with a usually wrong outcome, right? So he wants to tell all the kids this Santa's fake. He's not trying to be mean. Yeah. He's just telling the kids, "Wait, this is an imposter because I know who the real Santa is. This guy, he just pulled him off the subway. Like he still smells like meat as he you smell like meat and cheese." That's a very good line.
He just proved his point when he started destroying everything.
Right. It destroys everything. But again, bad consequences as a result of good intentions. Yeah. So that's why you can never fully blame him for the things he does, because he's not stupid.
That was not really Buddy's fault. He destroyed everything. He just had a bad temper.
Yeah. It's his best intentions, I guess. He has best. I'm not to reiterate, keep hearing stuff, but because like sometimes you see a movie and the guy's someone's just stupid and they do something because they're dumb, and you're like, "Well, you're just dumb." Well, Buddy's not dumb. He's just living based on his own rhythms, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did laugh a lot when like right before when the Santa comes and like, he stays there the whole night and he decorates everything. And when the manager comes, he's like, "Corporate was here. Like, they're here somewhere." Like,
I love that.
He's a professional. They're after my job.
That was hilarious.
I go down. We all go down. The fuck? No, we don't. You're on your own, buddy.
You're on your own, dude. I love that corporate paranoia. I love that. It's so good.
It was real. I mean, I worked in many different retail jobs, and anytime you think corporate's around, everyone starts freaking out. It was, that too. But it's a normal thing, like, especially in retail. Okay? Everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to get fired."
Oh, God, everything has to be perfect.
I don't miss retail.
Oh, me neither.
I know. I just loved all the incidents. Like, there's one part where when he does attack Santa, he ends up getting, a restraining order, they say.
When did he get sent to jail again? That wasn't, no, you would think that would be for that time.
When did he get sent? What made him go to jail? Was it the fight with Santa?
It was the fight with Santa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with the jail scene. I wanted him to be singing carols with all the guys in jail and then be like, bye guys, see you later.
Yeah, that would have
been fun. That would have undercut the mailroom scene, which I think is really fantastic. Him getting the mailroom together.
And that's another thing I wanted to mention, like how upset they are. Like, oh, hey, we got a crisis down here. Why? Because people aren't working and they're dancing. Like, you really need to call your boss, like some boss way upstairs because people are dancing. Like,
or it could have been
really.
Everyone was high and drunk.
There could have been that much alcohol in that little bottle in that coffee.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's not the only one who had it.
He also did not look 26.
No. Do you remember when he said, I'm 26 and blah? I'm like, you are not. Don't lie to us.
Dude, tack on 20 years to that. I was kidding me, 26.
Like, they didn't really need to make him 26.
Which might have been the joke. You know, he might be laughing at the joke they intended to tell. Maybe, I don't know, but that's a great scene. That's a great moment of what's great about Buddy as a character is that, and I think I mentioned it earlier. He at the end of the day, no matter how much chaos he causes, he makes everybody's life better just by him being in their orbit. Like everybody improves. And again, this is a very one-noted. This is a Christmas movie. I get it, right? This is not Shakespeare here. But as far as Christmas movies go, that's kind of what you want. You want, that central figure who's going to make things okay, Yeah,
and the mailroom is really funny too.
Oh, great!
Other thing that there's a scene with James Caan where they're like, "Oh, he's on the naughty list," and it shows him talking to nuns who are like, "The children love the book, but you didn't make the payment." He's like, "I'm glad to hear the children like the book." Like, it's great.
But think of the children.
Now the part where they're like, "This book is missing 2 pages." He's like, "Do you want? We're not going to take a $30,000 bath to reprint that." It's like. I'm thinking to myself
it only cost $30,000 to print those books. How many did they print?
Well, they reprint the 2 pages, then insert them in the books.
I feel like that'd be way more than $30,000.
I think
$30,000 is really not that much when you think about how much profit you can make on something, especially when you put out a bad product. You're not gonna.
Yeah, because all the people that bought it are now going to return it because there's no ending.
And they're not going to buy your book again.
And they're not going to buy the stupid. What was it?
The pigeon.
Tomato? Is that right?
No, it's not. The tomatoes when you get to the angry elf, which I want to talk about next. It's Pigeon and the dog become friends. Pigeon and puppy become friends.
That's it. Pigeon and puppy, yeah.
It's just, but it also it does a good job of showing that his character only cares about money, even though he's a really bad businessman, in my opinion. Because I mean, he signed off on it, and you think all he cares about is money. You think he would have double checked that the pages are there, but it shows like he doesn't care at all.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of like okay. And then.
Go ahead, sorry.
I did laugh when you have the 2 writers like, we got a great, because there's one point when the book fails and they bring these writers and he's like, we got a great idea. It's like, we really thought this out. We're going to hire Miles Finch. He's like, so my 2 great writers want to hire another writer. Yes.
Yes.
Great idea.
And I was just thinking to myself like, I don't see that happening.
I love that when Peter Dinklage shows up. He is such a good actor. Man, is he incredible. He shows up and he's the best actor on the screen. Honestly, I think he was just in the one scene. He stole
Elf one more time.
Call me Elf one more time.
And I like how he keeps saying that.
You feel strong today?
So Buddy keeps calling him Elf because Buddy doesn't get the social cue of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Again, he doesn't get. It's so good. It's such a good, sweet thing. Again, guaranteed to fail. It's not going to happen.
It's just a funny scene. Seeing Peter Dinklage in this, and he just jumps up.
On the
he drop kicks him.
Charges at him.
Yeah, some good physical humor there. Just fun to watch. Yeah, it was very funny.
And it's so funny. He's like, I got more action than you got, and like stuff that doesn't mean anything to him. All the stupid flex. I got 3 houses, like we made the joke earlier, with 70-inch flat screen plasma TVs.
So good.
Wouldn't it be cars or something you think you'd be bragging about? Not TVs?
Yeah. Again, of the time, for sure. Definitely at the time.
It's a very good, funny scene that I think works well, and that's what, makes James Caan blow up when you have that great scene and makes, leads to Buddy running away and leads to the climax of the movie. But it all works surprisingly well. And one thing that I want to talk about too is like when you have the date scene with Javi and Buddy, that's a really good, sweet little date scene too. Like, because he doesn't really, even when he asks her out, he's just following what his little brother tells him, who didn't even like him, 10 minutes ago until they had their bonding moment.
For food?
Yeah, and she's like, what? But then she understands, what he's trying to say, and she realizes that he doesn't really, understand the social cues of what's happening. So it's like, she's like, well, I'm free Thursday night. And like that whole scene, like he's like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go walk, and then he's showing her Christmas trees. He takes her to the the revolving door. He's like, yeah, just it's fun. You just see people just staring at him like, what the hell are you doing?
Watch the yellow ones. The yellow ones don't stop.
I love that.
It's pretty funny. Like I thought it's very good. And when they're on the ice rink, as I have to bring this up. So Bill, was that kiss earned on the ice rink?
Yeah, I think so. It was sweet. It was a sweet. I don't like the fact that there was on the ice rink that during Christmas that is literally impossible to approach or see, never find, place your feet upon. This is the Christmas time in New York, in Rockefeller Center. She goes, that's the thing that annoyed me the most in this movie. It has nothing wrong with the movie. They paid good money for people to get out of the way and leave. If you go, and I've been to Rockefeller Center to see the Christmas tree and see the ice skating rink during the Christmas season, there will be 10,000 people in that square block at any given moment. You cannot walk. You can't move. It's insane. You can get there. It takes the time. So there's no way during the Christmas season when the city is full of tourists, right? Everyone's in Christmas for the holidays. There's no way you could have walked up to that skating rink and just start sashaying on the ice.
I don't know how they could have.
If they closed,
stay with me.
If they
had a time machine and they went to 2020. There we go. I got it. I solved the problem.
Oh yeah, that's true. That could have done that. That could be it. That could be it. Very good.
I know
that was just a thing that bugged me. And I know it's a movie, right? Because obviously it wouldn't be a fun, fanciful date if you had to like literally sit in front of 8,000 people all eating pretzels they got out of stands and dirty water dogs, because the kids are hungry because it's 8:30 at night and everyone's too tired to be there. Golly.
It's just such a sweet, and it's like after I watched this 3 times, it really kind of hit me more. Like I really like this scene. Like I really like their relationship.
Adorable. It's so sweet. It's
and how
sweet
it grows. It really I gotta say, this kiss and this whole scene made more sense. And hot guy came out from the sky, and she just wanted to jump his bones. It made more sense.
No, that makes sense. And you're like, hallelujah, it's raining men.
I always like to say when I lived in the city that New York can be a very cold place, which means everybody there is looking for warmth, which is why the bar scene, that's why you can always find communities to go to. Because again, the city is very cold, but you're always looking for warmth. So you're always looking for community, people to be with. And that's why the bar scenes are so important, right? That's why there's social sports and all these different things to do. And especially in New York, which is, again, it's a very cold city. So it makes sense that she, being a New Yorker, living there for a while, clearly living paycheck to paycheck, they cut her water off, so she has to shower in Gimbals, etc. It would make sense that she would really lean into somebody who's genuinely just warm and sweet and innocent and uncomplicated and just joyously fun and warm and sweet. So it completely earned, I think, in this movie, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree too. Like this movie is so charming. Like there's even the scene where he does a DNA test with a dad where he doesn't believe him because he's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna find out if this guy really is my son because he knows the name of my ex-girlfriend that's been dead for however many years.
30 seconds later, it's a boy.
I know.
That was funny because it's the director.
Yeah.
Being in the movie, and he's like, I like to like, I'm gonna prick your finger. Okay, that's how. And he stabs his finger, and the guy's like. So funny.
But why is he eating cotton balls?
Because he's naive.
Naive? They can't taste good? He likes sugar. I still don't get it. He even eat the one with his blood on it.
Well, that would have some taste to it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Tangy, salty, sure.
Mm-hmm. Irony, probably. Like when you get punched in the mouth and you feel that blood run down you, something like that.
Has that happened often to you?
Not where I got punched, no.
Okay. Moving on.
Oh no! There's just so many little good scenes that I felt worked pretty well in this movie. Surprisingly, like it really. Again, if you watch this movie 3 times in over the course of like a week, you start to like it more. It's really strange because each time it improved for me.
So we should probably then talk about the ending just to kind of put a cap on that, and then we can kind of go back to some other little things here and there. The ending, of course, the climactic scene is that Santa appears. We learn early on that the sleigh is powered by a giant rocket made in the 60s because nobody believes in Christmas anymore or believes in Santa. So the Santa leader, the clausometer is completely low. You can't do it that way. The engine breaks. He crashes into Central Park. There is a group, the Central Park Rangers. Those aren't really a thing. There are Central Park like rangers, like park rangers, but they're not like, they don't look like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Let's not.
Oh,
Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
I have a question for you, Bill. So
Yes.
when they show Elf or Buddy on TV and you see him walking and he turns at the camera, do you know what that was a reference to?
Trying to remember the scene.
They just show him like, oh, we see a guy in an elf costume walking in Central Park.
And he like taking a big stride.
Yep, and then he turns and it stops the camera when he turns.
No, I don't think I know. I'd
Okay.
have to see it, but I don't think I remember.
I'm going to upturn my glasses here. And it looks like the famous scene from a Sasquatch video where they first discovered Bigfoot, and they show the scene. You see Bigfoot taking these big strides, and he turns around. It came out years later. It wasn't actually Bigfoot. It was a guy in a costume that then filmed it.
Like 30 years.
It's 20 or 30 years later before they finally said, yeah, we filmed that.
And they were probably made money off of it.
No, yeah, probably did. But yeah, so that, I mean, and when I saw that, because I used to really believe in Bigfoot and all this other stuff a long time ago when I was a kid. And so when I saw it, I immediately that's that scene. That is that home video where the guy is running, and like almost falling and captures this little image before Bigfoot vanishes. If you look it up, you can find it. But yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that's what that scene is a reference to.
That's pretty cool. I know the video clip that you're referring to. Okay, yeah, I guess I can see that. That's funny. But yeah, no, it's so in Central Park there, so Santa crashes. I forget how Buddy. Oh, does Buddy go? Oh, Buddy sees Santa plummeting to the earth as he's standing on the. I couldn't place what bridge he's on, and I asked my wife, Jane, what bridge is that? And she's like, I need to see more. Right? I don't know where it is in space. So I couldn't figure out what bridge he's on. But he sees Santa plummeting to the sky. So he clearly like he got from the North Pole to New York in a couple of days. He got to from that bridge over to Central Park just by walking on over. It's just cool. It's fine. That's not gonna take me 5 hours. It's fine. So he walks over, discovers Santa. What do y'all think about this ending? Yeah.
When the mother is all of a sudden sees her son on TV with a naughty book and she's just there all of a sudden.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jovi too.
Yep.
They're just there. Oh, Michael, we saw you on TV, so we just popped on over.
And then James Caan and James Caan and Buddy, his spawn point was right there, so he spawned there, and they just have the plotting in this very end part is so all over the place, and it's just hey, let's just get us to the ending, get us to the feels, please, just get us to the good vibes of him succeeding.
I do think it's funny how the studio didn't want any of that ending to be in there originally. They tried to cut it out in the early viewings.
That's baffling. I don't.
They were gonna cut it right as Santa's.
Yeah, and then Buddy just leaves with Santa, and that'd be the end of their movie. You know what really works well when the studio interferes? Look at that Suicide Squad movie, the first one. Great movie when they interfered. Same as the first Justice League, and the same with Batman v Superman. Great movies when the studio.
There's two Justice.
Well, there's a Zack Snyder cut, which is actually good. I don't know why, but it's actually good.
We're not going to Justice League. Move on.
But I mean, you're right though. I mean, it works well, like the way to get everyone together, and it has that really Christmas feel. Like it makes you smile. That all of a sudden you start seeing his sleigh working, and I do swear that when they show the horses, the park rangers chasing after him, it looks just like Lord of the Rings. The way you see the horses, and it reminds me so much of the ring race from Fellowship of the Ring. I can't be the only one that thought that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen The Lord of the Rings in forever. I think I saw it once.
It reminded me of that, and then it reminded me of the Little Nightmares and Rise of the Guardians, the Little Nightmare Horses.
That came out in 2012.
So, it's still, what is your point?
That was my point.
Okay, whatever. You're fired.
And I found it really sweet how it's like, like the part when Michael brings the book. I actually laugh at that part when he's going through the book and he's like, this person wants a talking doll, and this person wants
But so I didn't pay close enough attention. Maybe you did, Bill, but I don't think any of the names he read were in alphabetical order. And then suddenly he's like, what's your last name? Oh, D. Let me see, D.
Yeah, and
I didn't pay enough attention.
And he turns to the page immediately, and the page that has 50 million names in it, including adults. So it's not just kids; it's adults. Evidently, are in there.
Apparently, I didn't know adults got a wish. Okay, I'm gonna make my list right now.
I got mine.
Dear Santa.
It's in service to a very funny joke that kind of pushes, that also moves the plot, because she basically tells them to cut. Like what he says something to the effect of, who wishes you have your Christmas wish is your boyfriend would stop messing about and just commit or something like that.
Yeah.
And of course,
you want a Tiffany engagement ring, and you want your boyfriend to stop dragging his feet and finally commit.
It's like, who told you to say that?
So with that, she cuts off the broadcast, which means everybody in the city, who clearly, I guess, everybody at home is watching New York One. They're watching New York One news because that's the only way this works, right? Is if everybody sees that broadcast and says, "Oh, he's saying kids' names," and then this kid goes, "Oh, I believe," and this kid, "I believe," and then a biker bar, "We believe." But I guess that was something that just struck me as like, really, everybody's watching New York One, like the entire city.
New York was. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll buy it.
No one watches New York One. Trust me. The real station. No one watches it.
I'll buy it.
I don't buy it. I don't buy the little girl with the who wants the talkie doll that she was watching the news.
Okay, that I don't buy, but I can buy the biker bar.
I can buy as I can buy. Anyway, again, this is a Christmas movie. I can't be too picky about these silly things because they're silly things. I was looking at some critical responses from Wikipedia, from Rotten Tomatoes, and someone said, let's see. Anna Smith of Empire Magazine gave the film a 3 out of 5 stars and said, Farrell's man-child invites sympathy and sniggers, making this amusing despite some flimsy plotting. It's a Christmas movie. Of course there's flimsy plotting. Like that's part of it. That's like almost baked into the genre. Like nothing here is incredibly tight. You can't do that and have the fun and the joy of a holiday movie. Almost the two can't be, and if they were to be, they'd be landmark, classics like your Miracle on 34th Street or your It's a Wonderful Life, regardless of how little I like that movie now.
Can we talk about the creepy caster?
Sure, please.
Who he's talking to her and is like, "Oh, I can't remember what he said."
How's your first real story going?
Oh, I bet you don't report like this and where you're from. And he just so condescending and such an
yeah.
2003.
Right.
And I just hated him so much. And then this poor girl has the other guy flirting with her on camera. Oh, you have such a beautiful mouth. What?
He said that. I got surprised. Like, whoa.
Whoa, you have a beautiful mouth.
Beautiful mouth. Golly.
She's just like, will you please answer my question? Like this poor girl.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of dumb. Yeah, but again, a 2003 feel. It had to me.
I don't get where you're getting a 2003 feel. What's 2003 feel like?
People are idiots that are men that put in movies, I guess. Okay. That's where I'm going for it. I got nothing really. The ending amused me. The way that it wraps up the story after, he does, like, people, like, because they cut the camera, people don't see the sleigh going except for the people that are there, and you have everybody singing that gets the sleigh working. And I gotta say, Zoe, how you pronounce her name, she can sing. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Zoe Stationell has a sensational voice. She is a amazing singer.
And I like that she gets up there and she starts singing, and you get everyone, like, I don't like Christmas movies, but this actually amused me, and I was surprised, especially the third time I watched this movie. It really amused me. It made me feel.
Yeah, no, she's an amazing singer. She's in a group called, I think it's Him and Her. She and Him, that's it. She and Him, they have a holiday album that came out. I think it might have been a little after that. That's actually very good. It's kind of this folksy, indie, very, very hipstery holiday music. But she's got a gorgeous voice. She sings in Almost Famous. She has that one scene where she sings. Yeah, she's great.
Are we buying tickets?
No, but she's going to be in San Antonio, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, by the way.
Oh, let's go.
All right.
Chicago's closer.
Chicago's back in time.
Oh, damn.
I'm just curious. It's not that expensive, actually, I feel like. But no, we are not going. So.
Well, that's okay, because I really don't know.
Things I look up while we record.
You're so random.
Welcome to Games My Mom Found.
Randomness of the internet. Mike found I found Mike's first fanboy. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Wait, what?
Something is all being cut out. But so one of the other things that I want to mention, we like also the ending where it shows like everyone being happy. It shows Walter starting a new company. It's showing Elf has a baby, and all that was just funny to me and very sweet. And where you see Jovi wearing the costume with the pink, which I never would have put together that it's from Rankin and Bass.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that either. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the same exact costume.
Is it
Yeah.
really?
You have a pink, everything, exact same colors.
Just
The way
another-
all their costumes are right from Rankin and Bass.
Yeah, just another bit of plagiarism. It's just the thing you see the entire movie. You just stole that.
So I'm curious on, does anybody know how they got away with it? Because I know
They-
there were lawyers involved at first, and then they said, oh, we figured it, they basically said in the documentary, we figured it out. That was it.
They probably paid them an undisclosed amount of money, or Rankin and Bass just be like, oh, I don't care. Fine. I don't care. Or whatever company owns them now. Sure, it's not them. They probably just paid them. They maybe they can't say. Maybe it's like an undisclosed thing. It's in a contract somewhere buried in legalese. Don't mention that you gave us, $85 million, whatever, to do that thing. They probably had to pay us some or something. I don't know.
Wait, because they're not even around anymore, I don't think, but they're probably owned by somebody, so.
I don't know.
I'm trying to find out, but Wiki is not being very friendly, so. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they just disappeared, over time. Or some company, owns them at some point or something of that nature.
They're lawyers now.
No, it's been defunct a couple different times.
Okay.
The studio, in 2001, it went away.
Okay.
Is that what
Well-
we're calling it now? It's defunct?
That's what the Wikipedia says.
Oh,
It's defunct.
okay.
Yeah, that means it is no longer a thing.
Yeah, 'cause it was bought by, it folded into Lorimar Pictures in 1987, and then the partnership was dissolved in 2001. So nobody owned it. That's why they were able to get away with it, because the company didn't exist. So your company doesn't exist,
Then
you
why
can't.
were there lawyers involved?
Because maybe they didn't realize that the company just went away, and they were worried that somebody would sue them. But yeah, the partnership was dissolved, and they didn't exist anymore. So I'm assuming someone must own some of the rights, because the Rudolph plays every year, so somebody
got a kickback.
yeah. But I don't know exactly what. But yeah, I'm assuming that's they talked to somebody and paid a low amount of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they paid somebody and they said, fine, we won't sue. And then they called it a day. Yeah, I also love, not to back away from the ending too much, we didn't really mention how well Buddy works with Michael, I think is the kid's name.
Yes.
And that is such a great little encapsulation of what this movie does well. Again, Buddy making people's lives better by just being there.
But there is one super unbelievable part I feel with Michael.
Yes.
He's wearing a Jets hoodie. No one wears a Jets hoodie, right? Even in New York, don't they hate the Jets?
No, not in 2003. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't hate the Jets in 2003. I think 2003 was still somewhat respectability. They were not the dumpster fire disaster that they are at this current moment and have been for the last 10, 15 years.
I used to work with a guy, one of my bosses, who was from New York at one point, and I think he hated the Jets too. And he's like, everyone in New York that hates the Jets except for like a very small portion of New York.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the Giants are by far more popular, but the Jets fan base is ravenous and loyal. My best friend Joey, who've heard on A Gamer Looks at 40 numerous times, he is a diehard Jets fan, and he's a long-suffering Jets fan. And so, and even though I live in Austin, Texas now, I still listen to New York sports radio because I love hearing people scream and complain about the Jets and the Giants and all the local terrible New York sports teams. It makes me smile. It reminds me of home. It really does. New York sports radio reminds me of home. So I still listen to it every other day or so. Catch the clips on YouTube. Anyway, yeah, I saw that. I saw him wearing like a Jets hoodie, and he had a Jets hoodie and a jersey on when they're trimming the tree.
Yeah.
So he was wearing Jets gear, and I'm like, oh no, you're a Jets fan. That sucks. I instantly liked him more as a character because I'm like, ooh, like I know this does not end well for you. You're gonna be a cranky 30-something like today.
Disappointment in the future. So sorry.
Oh yeah, yelling about the coaches and and Mike White and all that other nonsense. Ugh.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, I don't think Mark Sanchez was back in those days. That might have been Mark Sanchez.
No, he's later. He was only less than 10 years ago.
Okay.
He wasn't the quarterback. He's the one with the butt fumble that's famous for.
The butt
Yes.
fumble?
He ran into his lineman, ran right into the guy's ass, and fumbled the ball. And then I think they got a touchdown scored on them by him doing that. There's a video on YouTube of him running right into the guy's ass and dropping the ball. So it's called the butt fumble.
Yeah, again, and this is like so outside the bounds of this conversation, but it was on Thanksgiving Day, prime time, the entire country watching against the Patriots.
No, against the Patriots?
Yeah, right? Against the Pats.
Oh, no.
And that was the game where they I think the Pats were up 35-3 by the half. Like it was just.
I would have quit. I just would have quit and disappeared.
Yeah, that's close to what happened.
Those are Chad Pennington days. Oh my god. Okay, anyway, sorry.
But that's always what it makes me think of when I think of Mark Sanchez. He will always forever be known for the guy that ran into the guy's ass and dropped the ball. The clip is on YouTube, by the way. I'm watching it right now.
Where's the butt action?
Right there.
Where's the butt? Can you isolate that?
So for great radio, we're watching the video, and my wife was like, "What? I didn't see it." And all of a sudden, she sees him run right into the guy's ass and falls.
But it was a little anticlimactic. It wasn't as much as.
See, there's the climactic part where the guy goes and scores a touchdown against them, and then years later, everyone talks about it. This happened in 2015.
It wasn't that big of a deal moment, but it's something that's haunted the Jets for decades. So. Yeah, I was going to say something about Mike. I was going to say something about Michael, but we were talking about the Jets now, and that's what we have. That's where we ended up. I love. We didn't mention the snowball fight, which I think is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
That was a cute scene where that's how Michael and Buddy really bind or bound. What word do I want?
Bond.
Bonded. Yes, not bind, not bond, not bound. Bond.
They bonded.
James Bond.
That was a good scene. Like. He's like, oh, make as many snowballs as you can. He makes the one, and then Buddy has a giant pile, and he just throws them at everyone and just takes out the people. I like this scene. I think it's...
The last kid running away has to be like an adult. It has to be. And that's because you hear this random...
and then he just drops.
And then he just drops. I'm like, that was no kid. That had to be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That
it's probably Stuntman Buddy in that hoodie.
Oh, there are multiple scenes in this movie where you can tell it's not Will Ferrell when they do some of the stunts. Like, you can see it's not Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah, when he jumps into the tree, like he goes off screen, then he jumps into the tree. Clearly not. You know, there's a bunch of those. But it's funny, with that scene when he hits the final kid with the snowball, I laughed really hard last night. That was like that. It's such good, because again, as a kid, we all had villainous children in our lives who were just bullies and mean, and to see them just get completely destroyed by a barrage of snowballs is so cathartic and good. It's just vengeance for everybody watching against those evil children that you struggled against as kids.
It's just like I really like the relationship with with Buddy and Michael, how it starts off where they don't, he doesn't really like him, which makes sense. I wouldn't like someone either that, he's not cool. Especially when he embarrasses them at school, like, hey, Michael,
No, that guy, no, I'm your brother. Oh, right.
It's cute to see them bond, and everything leading up to the Jovi date when he asked her out, all that stuff. I think it's really cute. It makes me enjoy the movie more than I meant to.
Yeah.
I did not, when I went into this, this was a straight garbage, and then I watched it 3 times, and now I'm like,
That makes me hurt.
The movie has heart. And I did like in the ending where it shows that when Walter started his new company, that it was the book that made it was Elf. The what happened in the movie as a kid's book, which I thought was really cute.
That's good. It ties it all together. Yeah.
Any other thing we should say about that, or any scenes that we missed that you're thinking of, Bill or Tiffany? Okay.
I'll remember later.
Oh, that worked. Anything else, Bill?
No, I think I'm good. I think I captured everything.
Let's go to shelf, stack, or box. And Tiffany, why don't you go first?
Probably stack. Probably stack. Well, because it's a Christmas movie. Not my favorite Christmas movie, but not enough to put in a box. I did enjoy it, so stack.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
Can you really shelf Christmas movies? Because you really want something on your shelf for 11 months out of the year that you can't watch it? Because let's be honest, you're not watching this in October.
You only watch them at Christmas time.
Right. That's what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie. You can only watch it at Christmas
time.
That's right. So there's that argument. There goes the argument I'm not going to say, because there's an argument that defeats that. So there you go. I'm not going to have that argument. Okay. So if I had a Christmas shelf, I'm going to say I am going to put this on the shelf, on the Christmas shelf. Obviously, I'm not going to watch it. It would go into a stack if I had that ranking. But as far as Christmas movies go, this is definitely on the shelf. I think this is B+, close to A tier Christmas movie because of the feelings it evokes. It uses holiday imagery in a positive way. It makes me, I'll just say me, it can be subjective here. It makes me feel really good, puts me in a good holiday spirit. It's very funny. Will Ferrell is exceptionally good as Buddy. I can't imagine anybody else playing that role. That's his role. I don't know who else could have done that. It just has this beautiful childlike innocence, right? And yeah, it's got plot holes and it's silly and it's a Christmas movie, but as they come, it's a pretty sharply designed one, and it's got an extraordinary amount of heart. And in the holidays, in the cold winter of December, that's what you want. This is a warm blanket type of movie, and I love it for it. So it's going on my Christmas shelf.
Okay. For me, this is going in the stack. This was a straight box before I watched it 2 more times. But the more I watched the movie, as I kept saying, it just really grew on me, and I really enjoyed it. But I don't enjoy it enough that I ever want to. Like, I've seen it 3 times in a week. I'm good. I do not need to rewatch this movie anytime soon, ever again. I don't enjoy it that much. But it's going to stack, and I'm glad that we did this. I now have better feelings about Elf, but I can't see it as a classic film just because it came. I guess I also don't like Christmas movies. I think is a big part of it.
Humbug to you.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't watch them normally ever. I usually avoid them.
I'll force you to watch my favorite.
I know. That's December. But yeah, so we're going to stack. I'm glad that we did this, though, because it was fun. But yeah, that's all I got. All right, I think we should go to plugs. First thing I do want to say is thank you to all the patrons that voted for this and being on this episode right now with me. So
Wait, I'm on Patreon too.
Yeah, but did you vote for this? Okay, Bill did. Bill's the reason why we're doing it because he tied it up at the end. And I'm like, we have our first tie. I guess we'll do it anyway.
I just want to.
Doing my movie next.
So if you want to help out, you can support the show for as little as $1. You can go to our Patreon. You will see a link in the show notes. You vote, and we have a monthly poll each month to decide what we're going to watch. The current Patreon poll is what MCU show should we watch? Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Hawkeye? You get to choose.
The Mandalorian.
That's already been covered both seasons.
Oh, what? Where was I?
I got nothing. We were together. I can tell you that much.
We were together.
And we were in this house. I can tell you that much. That's all I got.
I was in this house with you. Are you sure?
Yes. Bill, where can people find you at?
You can check out my podcast called A Gamer Looks at 40. It's a retrospective of the history of games as told through the recollections and stories of everyday people who lived it. It just kind of goes through the history of games. And I allow lots of people to tell lots of different interesting stories. We're getting more into some of the deeper topics. Just had a 2-part episode about video game difficulty, about centering around Metroid Dread. Should we have difficulty sliders? Should we not have difficulty sliders? All that sort of thing. Of course, yeah, Mike, of course you would say we should. Mike's like, slide it all. That's it. Easy up the world.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, we had a 2-part episode where I chat with a gentleman who in 2019 defeated the greatest Tetris player who ever lived in the Classic Tetris World Championships. He was a 7-time champion, and the gentleman I spoke to defeated him in the first round. Was a big upset, really big deal in that scene. So cool stuff like that. And by the time this comes out, I should have an episode with the author of 8-Bit Christmas. He wrote the book and the screenplay for the movie that's out right now. So
it's pretty damn cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You just know the secret is just ask. Just do a sneak tweet like, hey, I wish this person's DMs are open so I can invite them on my show. Imagine if I did that. And then 5 days later, he says, yeah, actually, that'd be great. So you never know. So yeah, A Gamer Looks at 40 on Twitter. Please come and check it out.
And if you enjoyed this episode, we have tons of other film episodes that we did and we covered all the MC movies of the Infinity Saga. So listen to us suffer through all those.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was insanity, as I said in the wrap up that already went live right not too long before you heard this. Go listen to that. So definitely go look at all our other episodes. We have tons of stuff to listen to. Also, if you can't find anything, look at Podbean. Everything is on Podbean or some of the other platforms if you can't find it on iTunes or Spotify for some of the old episodes because it only goes back to a certain amount and I record a lot. We are also you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube, but only audio, but it's there if you want to listen to.
Only audio.
Hey, I gotta put that out there. And Thor: Dark World is the whole movie there. Yeah, whole movie. Click it. Listen to the whole thing. It's a movie, I promise. So and I think that. Oh, I want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Hath Fury at TikTok. You will see a link to her TikTok in the show notes, or you'll see the name. You can go put it in TikTok. Definitely go check her out. She made our music. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.